Professor Jim. Professor Jim, you've been in martial arts as long as I've been alive. You're a scholar, right? You're a PhD professor, taught at Yale, lived in Japan, taught in Japan. One of the most intelligent men I've ever met. Yet I've heard you say multiple times that your black belt was one of your biggest accomplishments.
Oh, for sure.
Would you just break it down for me?
Yeah, well, it took 3 times as long as my PhD. It's the kind of thing that the idea of getting a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu was, how could that happen to me? I mean, I was told when I first started that, oh, it's too rough for you. And during my years in graduate school, you're a scholar, not a fighter. What are you doing with your time coming back with, scrapes all over your face? And so everything from discouragement from those around me, periods of not really improving as fast as I thought I should, being a blue belt for 14 years, and everything, you get into a mental rut. But if you stick with it, like I always say, it's not like who's highest in the podium to me, it's who's the last man standing. That's really the battle. Yeah. And not to say the podium's great, the view from up top, as you know, is nice, but to me it's really about who's the last one, how long are you doing this for?
Yeah.
So
not who's good, who's left.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Who's the last man standing, or sitting, as the case may be.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's the times that I had some minor injuries, times that I had to drive over a mountain range through a city, a 9-hour day. It was a 9-hour day to train for 1 hour. I had a period like that when I had an infant and another one on the way, living in Japan, where a lot of, like, as far as the professional level, it was hard to get out. Japanese work hours and a little bit different. I mean, it was like constantly an uphill climb. And then I realized, hey, the climb uphill is like where all the fun is. Yeah. When you're coasting down, it's not quite as gratifying.
Struggle is the way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It is the way. Yeah. Exactly. So, yeah, I mean, for anybody who thinks they can't do it, it's like, if I can do it, I mean, literally anybody can. 14 years as a blue belt, I could never be anything but a blue belt, and just, you stick with it and you'll get there.
So I know you martial arts and black belts in other martial arts as well. Yeah. Didn't take 14 years.
No.
How long total to black belt?
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu took me 1997, 2019, so 22 years.
22 years.
Yeah.
That's dedication.
Yeah.
That's persistence.
Yeah.
That's seeing a light at the end of a tunnel when the tunnel's endless.
Yeah, for sure.
A 14-year tunnel of blue belt for most people, man.
Yeah.
And I know I can name a half a dozen people that I know, had huge gaps at blue belts or never came back. But never a 14-year gap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
You kind of give up the idea of, like, something's owed to me. And I'm just having fun. I'm getting better. I know I'm getting better. And that's what it's about, improvement, right? So if I stay a blue belt for my whole life, then I'll be the best blue belt in the world.
So, Professor, we've talked a lot of time. Do you mind if I ask your age when you got your black belt?
Yes, I'm 52 tomorrow. I got my black belt in, thank you. I got my black belt 2019 when I was 49. So yeah, it took me, I mean, it's in my 40s. Yeah. I'd never go the next decade, but yeah.
That's incredible. How many people can you think of that are like, I'm 35, I'm too old to start this. I'm 40, exactly. I'm too old to start this. Exactly. I hear it all the time. So what do you say to those people that are like, I'm too old, I'm too out of shape, let me go get in shape first?
That's a never ending. I mean, if you don't start, you just gotta, you never will, right? If not now, when?
Yeah, if you don't start, you don't finish.
Exactly. Yeah. And you could say, put it off forever. It's kind of it's a self-perpetuating cycle of, like, procrastination, because, like, well, I'm not in good shape yet, but I'm getting better. And I'm getting, six-pack, I'm starting to feel strong. That has nothing to do with being good at jiu-jitsu, as you know. It's a confidence thing, right? Be shameless. There's no shame in coming on the mat. If you get smashed your first 6 months or year, within that time, you'll be smashing others before you know it. It's that, you get better. The camaraderie, the brotherhood, sisterhood. I mean, it's all, nobody's here to hurt you. Everybody's here to help you grow.
So, Professor, you mentioned camaraderie, right? And obviously it's a big part. So, you, like myself, have done this in multiple countries, right? And I'd imagine, being a foreigner in Japan, right? Jiu-Jitsu must have given you a sense of community. You found like-minded people. You found people to share this good gift with.
For sure, and that's exactly what exactly. The brotherhood is sweating, bleeding often metaphorically, of course, on the mat with people that care about you. They're not there to hurt you, they're there to help you, but at the same time, 3 seconds earlier before you tap, they're choking you unconscious. If you don't tap quickly enough, that is. So it's like a brother in arms kind of thing with, you know, the goal of basically, you know, iron sharpening iron, you know, helping each other out that way.
Absolutely.
You know, mentally, physically, it's a competition with yourself foremost, not with others, but the others just makes it fun, you know?
It's a team sport with the solo event.
Yes, for sure.
And it's a community environment. Yeah, so I mean, again, you moved back to America after how many years in Japan?
Well, 20 altogether, but that was back and forth, back and forth. The most recent stay was 12 years.
So 12 years.
Yeah.
12 years, moved back with 2 young kids.
Yeah, yeah.
And a Japanese wife.
Yeah.
Right? As a scholar, starting all over. And how long till you came to Jiu-Jitsu here? It was rather quick, correct?
Yeah, less than a week.
Less than a week?
Yeah.
So I met you less than a week?
Less than a week when I was back.
Less than a week from in America.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got back on April 30th, and I was training by May 6th. Yeah.
So now being back, it's been 5 years or so.
Mm-hmm.
How many of your friends stem from Jiu-Jitsu here? Because this was a new environment for you,
Yeah,
correct?
for sure. As far as people that I consider friends that I'm close to.
Or acquaintances, people that you know.
Yeah, no, almost everybody's related to Jiu-Jitsu. So
It's fascinating, isn't it?
It is.
At some point in my life, it comes that all my friends choke me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
isn't that great? Exactly.
It's a big thing.
My friends try to choke me out. What's better than that?
What's better than that?
You know?
Yeah.
Exactly. Completely.
Yeah.
And there's a certain mettle that you have to stay with Jiu-Jitsu. I think that's what kind of makes, you know, like-minded people kind of flock together.
Yeah. So I try to tell my kids, you know, in that sense of struggle is the way. I don't want to sound too much like a stoic philosopher by any means, but nonetheless, we as humans need that. We need that struggle. We need that push, right? We need that ironing that sharpens iron with others to form a community, to form a bond, to learn to not only deal with our own emotions, but we're dealing with a physical oppression, not oppression, but a physical challenge,
Yes.
which allows us to work through our emotions at the same time.
Exactly. I mean, when your diaphragm has somebody's knee on it, and they have one hand in the collar going for a choke as well, if you can't relax, if you can't learn how to let it go and get rid of fear, get rid of any kind of, whether it's fear of embarrassment, fear of losing, fear of whatever, you know, if you dealing with that emotion, dealing with that in real time with somebody who's there, you know, in a very controlled environment, they're not going to hurt you, but you know that if you don't breathe, you can still have bad things happen. There's a euphoria, there's an endorphin dump that isn't really matched by many things in life.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you would recommend Jiu-Jitsu?
Yeah.
Awesome.
I think Jiu-Jitsu in an environment where Professor Jason like this, where it's controlled, it's safe, it's full on, you're doing the real thing, it's a full contact sport, but it's safe, it's controlled, and great instruction. I mean, yeah, I'm 100%.
Professor, thanks for taking the time with us today.
Thank you.
It's an honor to have you, my friend. Love you.
Love you too.